You guys, Trump derangement syndrome strikes again. Oh my goodness. Oh, you know, Trump derangement syndrome. It's a very real thing that so many people struggle with, where they are just so, it's like their mind is just broken due to some man that was president for 4 years. Greatest president, best president, and it's just like, oh, it's such a severe mental disorder, and now it's coming back again. All this nonsense, all this sort of stuff, you're paying any sort of attention, all this whole Trump arrest and all this bogus nonsense and all this sort of craziness. So, I made a video several years ago talking about Trump derangement syndrome. I should have made it in 2016 when people were already getting all crazy, oh my gosh, Trump, and it's like, I had a few people comment basically saying, why are you making this video now? He's not even president anymore. It sounds like you're obsessed with him, like you love him. And it's like, well, yeah, you just proved my point that you have Trump derangement syndrome, that you've found my video somehow, that you're literally all focused on it, that you can't even listen to what I say. I remember there was someone reacting to it that I watched, and they just kind of they literally were talking over me when I was saying stuff in the video. I was very reasonable and rational, and then they got up and left and just allowed it to play, wasn't even listening to it. So it's like these people are completely just unwilling to listen to any sort of beliefs that counter their own. They're unwilling to look at any sort of evidence whatsoever and all this other stuff. And here we go again. Trump derangement syndrome strikes again, where these people are just absolutely insane. This whole cult that these people are in. It's first of all, I don't understand how people have so much hatred in their heart towards someone that they don't even know, that they have never even met before. It's I know people who absolutely hate this man. I know people in different countries who absolutely hate this man. It's you don't even live here. You don't even live here. It's okay, and it's these people have such hatred, and they have such this severe mental disorder known as Trump derangement, TDS. And it's just why are you so obsessed over him? Why are you so obsessed over this man? Why? What is wrong with you? It's just again, I don't understand it, because I don't come from that place. Okay? I'm not saying that I love the man, but I don't hate the man either. Okay? I don't hate anyone, and I don't understand that. Why do people hate one another? Why do people do all this ridiculous stuff? And it's why do you hold these grudges? Why are you having you cannot forgive people? If you're holding a grudge, if you cannot forgive, if you cannot move on, then to me that shows a sign of incredible, inability to be mature. You're not mature enough to be able to let things in the past go and just move on from it. Instead, these people are still fixated on this, arresting him for all these ridiculous things that are literally just meaningless, and dividing people even more. Because here's what we have to kind of drill down to. Okay, well, there's actually two things about this. When I was younger, it felt as though people were much more united. And I'm sure people my age, if not even older, can see just how divided people are now. It's people won't even be friends with you. Oh my gosh, you voted for Trump? I'm not going to be friends with you. And just, this whole political divide, okay? Oh my gosh, you didn't get the vaccine? I'm not going to be friends with you. And it's usually one-sided, okay? It's usually coming from the people on the left, the Democrat side, who are always this very, very immature set of people who they have Trump derangement syndrome. They cannot be friends with people. They cannot listen to any opposing arguments at all. Okay? Again, this is from what I've seen. This is from what I know, from people that I know. And it's just a shame. And then you have people on the other side, people on the right or Republicans who are more, they don't really care who you voted for. They don't care what sort of vaccination status you had. And that's where I stand, you know. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I don't like either of the parties. As you know, I've talked about this plenty of times. But it's like, I don't really care what your belief is. But here's what we have to remember. There's this huge divide, and it's just becoming increasingly worse to the point of like, it's like civil war at this point. And that's what this whole thing is trying to provoke. It's like you're going to arrest your political opposition because you have this severe mental health disorder when you should actually be going to a therapist to let go of this problem that you have. You need to seek psychological help instead of trying to start a civil war here. It's like, what is your problem? What the heck is wrong with you? It's like, just stop. You're so immature, and please just stop. You know, it's like, I don't know why people have such this massive amount of anger and hatred. Like, I've known someone who was like, oh my gosh, I was driving over, you know, to your place, and there was someone who had a Trump flag on their truck, and I just wanted to get a gun and just shoot at the tires. It's like, what the heck is wrong with you? It's like, you are mentally disturbed. You are absolutely mentally disturbed. It's like, not only that, this is probably someone who doesn't believe in any sort of, you know, who believes in very strict gun laws and all this other stuff. It's like, no guns, but I want a gun so I can shoot all the tires of the people who have, you know, Trump flags on their truck and everything. It's like, okay. You know, and this whole divide and all this sort of stuff, honestly, I would basically say is primarily from the news media, as you know. Because if we kind of look back, many more people were united, all this sort of stuff. You know, I think Obama was kind of the start of this great divide that ended up happening. A lot of people started to become divided for many, many reasons, you know. And then you had Trump become president. And what did you have the news media say? Non-stop. All of the news media saying how bad he was, lying about it, editing footage to make him look much worse than he actually was. I remember this so clearly. This was probably one of the first things that I really started to pay attention to, that I realized just how biased the news media was. I remember he was in Japan, he was feeding these fish. And I think it was CNN that showed him, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, look, you're not supposed to dump the whole thing of food in there with the fish. He's killing the fish. But it completely cropped out the part, like it zoomed in just on Trump dumping the food in. It did not show the part of the Japanese prime minister doing the same exact thing. You know, so that was like my kind of start, like, okay, so hold on now. So you're editing things out of context. You're starting to lie and manipulate, and you're trying to make people hate him. So that's why I think a lot of Trump derangement syndrome comes from. It comes from the news media, because people are listening to these altered facts about the reality of the situation, not actually even able to listen to the man speak. If you actually listen to what he has to say and not be so triggered and not go into like a seizure just listening to his voice and seeing his orange Cheeto face, then maybe you would understand, oh, wait a second. Maybe the news media has been lying to me all this time, and the things that he's saying actually, some of it actually makes perfect sense, and some of what he's saying is actually true, you know? But again, people are unwilling to listen to any opposing side. And that's what you have to do. You have to be able to look at all sides. If you're just so biased that you can't look at anything, it's just, that's what creates the division. And it's such a shame to see that, you know, we've been driven so far apart. It's like, again, I don't really care how someone votes. I don't really care if someone has any sort of vaccine or not. I don't really care. Because I will respect that person for their right to do whatever they want to do, whatever their beliefs are. And I would wish for the same in return. But a lot of times you're not going to get that, because it's like, oh, you don't believe the same things I do. You're not on the same page as I am, so I hate you. Whereas for me, I'm like, I don't hate you. I don't have anything against you. Why do you hate me? What did I do? You know, just because I have a different belief, that makes you hate me? I don't know. I don't get it. But here's the other big thing. All this stupid stuff, all this bogus stuff, trying to get people all riled up and everything. If the political system was fair, then guess what? You would see every politician in jail. That would be the most marvelous thing, because guess what? All the politicians, they're so corrupt. It's like, it's like, where's all the arrests and all of the charges against Hillary Clinton? The most corrupt politician that I am familiar with. The absolute worst. Hillary Clinton, huh? Where's her charges? What about Joe Biden? Probably the second most corrupt one. Where are his charges? Where is his arrest? Obama, George Bush, Bill Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, where are all their charges? Oh, wait. They get away with it because they're part of this big establishment. And I think Trump is definitely part of it as well. Certainly to some extent, but a very different type of extent, I would say. When you have different things here and there. But it's like, if the political system was fair, where are all their arrests for all of the crimes that they have committed? Obama. All of them. They have committed tremendous, heinous crimes. And here you go after someone who looks like a Oompa Loompa, Oompa Loompa Cheeto Man, getting arrested for something that just doesn't make any sense. That's literally like minor in comparison to what all these other people have done. It's like, okay. Now, I would love if he would get arrested because of the whole vaccine thing and him pushing that and him warp speeding that. I would love that. I would love that because we know the problems with that sort of thing. So if you're going to charge him, at least charge him for the correct things, such as that. Warp speeding that. Oh, what damage have you done to the world and the people of the U.S.? What damage have you done, sir, that you continue to be so proud of? I'm so proud of it, so it's just absolutely just disgusting. And not only that, this whole, again, the rule of law is extremely biased. There is no equal law. It's not fair. The rule of law is not fair because if you take a look at the whole stupid, January 6th thing, that is so minor. That is literally a trivial thing. If you actually look at what actually happened, it's like why is there such a big deal over this versus what happened the prior summer, which all these Black Lives Matter terrorists and everything burning down cities, destroying places, fiery but mostly peaceful protests, having literally the president go in the underground bunker because of the threats that were being done. It's like, where's the accountability for the people who committed all of those crimes? Oh wait, they got freed. That's right. The politicians let them go. So it's just it's such a double standard. I just cannot stand it. And when you're actually aware of what's going on in the world, you see it, and it's like, it is just disgusting. It just really is. It makes you upset. It can make you angry. All this other stuff. But it's like, you just got to move on past it because nothing I can do about that. Nothing you can really do about that. I mean, you can to some degree, do some sort of action with your, a peaceful action. But that's the thing. It's like there is no rule of law. If you're fighting for Black Lives Matter or like trans rights and all this other stuff, that is, a more of a Democrat talking point, you can get a free pass of stealing and looting and robbing and burning down buildings and killing people. But if you're a Republican and you're talking about, limiting abortions or, trying to limit, gender changes for kids, which should never happen to begin with, then you're considered a terrorist, and then you should go to jail. It's like, okay, common sense will get you into jail is basically what sometimes it ends up happening. It's like, okay. Anyway, I am done with this conversation. Just needed to talk about that because it is just so incredibly just disturbing just how changed people are. It's like, I just wish people would just wake up and just realize what's happening around them. Please just get out of your little bubble. Stop watching the mainstream news media. Stop being so angry and hateful towards people that disagree with you, and just listen to opposing sides. That's all that you have to do. Just listen to the opposing sides and open your mind and realize that what you've been told all this time has been a big lie. But I guess it's easier for people to not admit that they've been lied to have this blissful ignorance. Like, I don't really care. It's like, I am too busy with my own life to really care about this. But I will still have hatred towards people that did disagree with me. It's so sad to see. It's so sad to see, because this is basically the whole premise of my main YouTube channel, where I talk about all these educational things to help you open your mind and realize that you can let go of all this nonsense. Just let it all go. Be calm. Be patient. And then you can see the world from a much more calm perspective and realize you don't have to get all worked up. You don't have to have all this hatred in your heart. And that's where it all stems from. All of this hatred that people have in their heart towards this man that they don't even know, that causes this massive divide and causes like, well, anything is better than Trump. Even if everything gets destroyed around me, it's like, my life is so much worse now under Brandon, And it's like, yeah, maybe, but at least Trump's not president. I'm just done. So you all take care. Have a great one. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.